to separate one from another. No one is able to separate one from another. No one is able to separate one from another. All is unity. Do that again. All is unity. We are unity. We are unity. One more time. We are unity. All is unity. No one is separated. All is unity. No one is separated. All is unity. No one is separated. We'll start at the top. No one is able to separate one from another. No one is able to separate one from another. No one is able to separate one from another. All is unity. All is unity. No one is separated. All is unity. No one is separated. All is unity. Let's just do that one. All is unity. Last time. All is unity. Tannis Kowalchuk is the artistic director of Farm Arts Collective. She specializes in devised theater and creative place-making projects. She's an organic farmer, co-owner of Will-O-Wisp Organic Farm, where she manages the cut flower production. She's the original co-founder of NACL Theater, which was experimental theater, North American Cultural Laboratory, and worked in Canada with Primus Theater. Tannis is a force of nature.
Yeah, baby.
Right? Everybody, let's all nod for Tannis. Circle, everybody's nodding. Yes. And she has a vision. And that vision is welcoming and connecting the community with creative conversations about important issues and seeking inventive solutions for the common
Thank you. Before I start, I'm wondering if we can make a fuller circle. Maybe just you two. Maybe you could come over here, Jill, in another chair, and Michael, and then we can have just like a more complete circle. If you want to just roll in.
You have to use your outside voice for Heidi.
Okay, Heidi. Okay, I will. Okay, yeah, that's good. I just want to feel like we're in unity here. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Chair dancing. All right. So thank you very, very much for having me. It was a really, I wanted to talk about creativity and community connection through creativity. And I had an opportunity to think about creativity because it's like something I maybe take for granted because I've always been a theater maker. And so it was really nice to sit down and kind of analyze and think about and meditate on what creativity is and what it means and how I value it. So thank you very much for this chance, Heidi and Tom. We were in connection about it to give me the chance to do this. So this is what I'd like to present today. This is a quote from Martha Graham, dancer. There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will be lost. I have an understanding and a belief in my very core that the act of creativity is essential because it transmits and it connects you to your own internal energy and imagination. And this application creates literal pathways between your unique humanness, your mind, your body, and your soul. Developing a creativity muscle lets you see, hear, feel, access yourself. It gives you space and permission to dig deep into your dreams and your impulses, your instincts, your feelings, those little inklings you have, visions and thoughts, thoughts that are still not even thoughts. So you think. But once the creative it emerges and you magically push it out, a small miracle is generated. People might even ask, where do you get your ideas? And if you can make something of your idea, a poem, a song, a pot of soup, a painting, a book, a play, something designed in your living room, your garden, you get to stand outside yourself and you observe your work. You get to meet yourself in a different way. And the creative process can be very emotional and physical. In the act of creation, you can feel everything from terrifying fear to exquisite happiness to joyful, calming pleasure. And whatever feelings emerge in that creation process, in the end, you have made something that is utterly you. Creativity is a catalyst for the transformation of being. I heard that at this climate change conference I went to in Halifax recently. He was a philosopher, and he said this, and I wrote it down, and I'm using that in this essay I've written for this presentation because I think it's really important and it has so many meanings. It's the transformation of being, and it's also putting form, pushing out the form from yourself. There's so many meanings to it that I like to think about. So creativity is also something that you can share. Creativity, creative acts, creative products, if offered to others, can also connect you to the outside world. And if you welcome others into your work, or if you want to share your work, it connects you in utterly surprising and very unique ways. Heidi, am I loud enough for you? There's an overview. This is an overview of the proposition that I want to make today. And I'm sure that much of what I have just said about creativity is something that everyone here has thought about and maybe even experienced. I'm sure you've experienced it. But I think it's good to turn our attention to the importance and the value of creativity being an essential human drive in our work and in our internal lives. So this is just my personal story. I have always strived to make art. The drive has been there inside of me since I can remember. In my case, it was a passion to make the theater, and it has helped me in the best of times and in the worst of times in my life. In an intense health struggle that I experienced 13 years ago, I really leaned into my theater training and my creative practice to get my body and my brain back because I had just suffered a stroke. And my creative practice was an important part of my recovery. I improved and I healed quickly, and I think it was a result of my forcing myself to work and make theater about it, with it, and through it. And I was able to observe in myself that being creative heals, and it can be an agent for change like no other medium. Creativity is a catalyst for the transformation of being. And I got to thinking, why not offer this experience of creative healing to my community? The first time that I ventured into a community arts engagement project was in 2013, a couple years after the stroke I'd suffered. I directed a huge outdoor community play about climate change called The Weather Project. This play was produced by NACL, the company that I helped co-found and was a co-artistic director of then. Doing The Weather Project was the beginning of a new era for me as an artist. I somehow understood that working intensively with the people where I live and offering creative opportunities to anyone who was inclined to do this was what I needed to do. It was a move from art for art's sake to art as a vehicle for collective service and transformation. Just to describe that project, there was about 75 people involved, a mix of professional actors, stilt walkers, writers, a NASA climate scientist consultant who I eventually convinced to act in the play, along with community members, visual artists, and children. Not only were we addressing the important theme of climate change, but I was asking people in my community to join a collaboration and to contribute to a theatrical investigation on that subject of climate change. We gave one huge show in Newland in the ball field, and something like 600 people came out to see it, which was astounding. Did anyone here see it?
It was good.
That's really good. I was so inspired by the positive outcome and the collective energy that after we completed the Weather Project, I wanted to continue working with a lot of the same people that I'd met on that project and to do the same idea of this community engagement through art. And I embarked on another multi-year project called Courage. And I continued to create these relationships with local players from all walks of life. And this time, the play took on social justice and themes of war and the refugee experience in an original play that was devised based on Bertolt Brecht's mother, Courage, and her children. Are you familiar with that play, Mother Courage? Bertolt Brecht was a German writer and wrote in the Second World War, between the wars too. We performed this play on Apple Pond Farm, and the following year we brought the show to Governor's Island in New York City. Now, while doing all of this theater work, I was also working as a farmer and helping to build Willow Wisp Organic Farm, which I co-own with my husband, Greg Sports. Around this time, we were moving our farm to a larger 30-acre plot on our current location with beautiful river bottom soil that borders the Delaware River. That's in Damascus, Pennsylvania. On the new land, Greg and I put in more greenhouses to increase shoulder season production. We installed a massive solar panel array, and we started to hold public events on the farm tours around the solar array, raising money for the solar project. We were attracting community groups, businesses, schools, even politicians were coming to see the farm. And with my theater producer's eye, I observed how accessible and attractive the farm was to a very broad population. So it wasn't just the usual theater crowd that was coming to the farm, right? There was this range of people coming that spanned the ages and spanned politics and spanned economic disposition. Really, the farm was a magnet. and observing people's curiosity of the crops and the soil and organic methods, coupled with their happiness to walk the land, it got me thinking about what would an artistic practice look like on a farm? And what if we brought the theater to the farm? Would we attract a wider ensemble and a wider audience? Would telling stories about climate change and our relationship to the earth mean, what would it mean if experienced at a local food source? And could it be a potent vehicle for calls to action for both the doers and the viewers? Well, this is something that I wanted to see. And with these thoughts swirling around, I realized that I did need to bring the theater to the farm, to the source of food and life. And not only would this cut down on my fuel consumption because I was driving 45 minutes a day to go from farm to theater, theater back to farm, but why not making a working farm the location for community activation around themes of eco and social justice? So in 2018, I took my leave from NACL and I started Farm Arts Collective. Not only to bring the art to the farm, but also to bring the art of farming to the community. So we have a mission, which is that we would like to intersect 4 life-sustaining practices: farming, art, food, and ecology, to enhance community life here in our rural area. I wanted to build a unique and local agriculture, and I just wanted to contribute. Georgie O'Keeffe once said, "My painting is what I have to give back to the world what the world gives to me." And I love this, and I feel really, really very similar. And so I continued to attract and train a local ensemble of playmakers once we moved to the farm. We would meet every Thursday, which we still do. When we first started, we would actually meet here at the Union during the winters, and then we'd move to practice on the farm in the summer times. In our first year, we made a show called Shakespeare on the Farm, and we made a few other small touring theater events in the community. And then in 2020, we initiated Dream on the Farm. And Dream on the Farm is a 10-year performance project wherein we have committed to create 1 new play every year from the year 2020 to the year 2030 on the theme of climate change. We also started to offer farm-based workshops and events to offer learning and experience in farming, food, art, and ecology. Of course, starting a creative enterprise just as a global pandemic hit was not an easy task. But we were able to carry on all of our activities because most of the work we were doing was outside. It was outdoor theater. We were working in a fully ventilated greenhouse, so we were able to keep the work going. And our farm was open, stayed open as an essential business too during the pandemic. So thankfully, we were able to keep, in their early years, keep the work going. There's also a very interesting relationship between Farm Arts Collective and Willow Wisp Organic Farm in that we are able, and we continue to employ the artists of Farm Arts Collective on the farm. And visiting artists can also find work on the farm. And this source of paid work has helped us retain and sustain the creative core. So we're going to come back to the word creative again. So that's my story, my kind of trajectory with my creative work and my agrarian work. But let's just go back to creativity and think about it. I did a little bit of research. I was like, how do people define creativity? You know, we have the internet for these fun things, these researches now that we can do. So I just want to read a couple other definitions beyond my own of what creativity, how creativity is defined. This is in Britannica. Creativity, quote, is the ability to make or otherwise bring into existence something new, whether it's a new solution to a problem, a new method or device, or a new artistic object or form. And then in Psychology Today, The definition is interesting. I like this one. It reads, creativity encompasses the ability to discover new and original ideas, connections, and solutions to problems. It's a part of our journey as humans, fostering resilience, sparking joy, and providing opportunities for self-actualization. An act of creativity can be grand and inspiring, such as crafting a beautiful painting or designing an innovative company, but an idea need not be artistic or world-changing to count as creative. Life requires daily acts of ingenuity and novel workarounds. In this sense, almost everyone possesses some amount of creativity. And I like this description because it reminds us that we can apply creativity to everything, to all walks of life. And if we can develop and strengthen that creativity muscle, we can problem solve and we can be ready to improvise. We can truly respond with much more resiliency as we face life's major and mundane challenges. So in my work making collaborative theater with my community, I create an environment for creative autonomy for the people with whom I work. Everyone is invited to fully contribute to the theater making process. Everyone's invited to create a character, create physical actions and scores, write text, make music, to contribute to the greater whole, which is the play. And it's my job to play with people's strengths, to help them make the best material possible, and then to weave it all together into a cohesive dramaturgical tapestry. And in this process of collective creation, there are some principles that we strive to adhere to, and they are, it's a group process. Everyone agrees to work together and contributes. It is collaborative. There is a sharing of power and decision making. Everyone has a voice and respects one another. 3, it requires rigorous thinking. To engage in a world of ideas and concepts, explore ideas through image and music and metaphor, it involves creative and critical thinking. It requires trust. Building an atmosphere of trust and support is the most important task as the leader. It is aesthetic. An aesthetic experience occurs. We need to think as artists. Emphasis must be on the work, decisions that make the play stronger, not catering to individual egos. And 2, we need to document the process. This project is invaluable and it's a source of reflection, and evaluation is important. So now what I want to do is illustrate some of these ideas that I'm talking about into a more practical format. So if everyone is game right now, I just want to go through a couple creative exercises this morning. Is that good? You want to do that? Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to kind of mirror the way that Farm Arts Collective works. Is we come together weekly, much like you do here, the UU Fellowship. And I want to just start the way that we start, which is a check-in, okay? So everyone comes together in a circle like this and we check in, and we say how we're doing, basically. If there's new people here, which is the case today, then I would love if we did something a little bit different, which is to say your name, maybe mention where you're from, where you live, and today talk about something you observed this week. And it doesn't have to be like grand and important, just something that you noticed this week that maybe is meant something to you and had some significance, or just you took note of, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't need to be a big thing. It could be a small thing, but it was something that you noticed that obviously meant something to you because you noticed it. It's that simple. So if you feel free to just take a moment if you need to right now, just to think about your week. And Is that okay? Are we okay? People at home can do this. We can hear their response as well.
There is somebody named Nam Nagoyan who is making, who is not on mute. So I don't know what that is, but he was not on mute.
ไม่ต้องไล่ชื่อไม่ต้องจ่อมานั่งแล้วก็นี่ไม่เอาไม่ต้องมานั่งแล้วก็บ้าง
Thank you very much.
He got lost.
You got a hacker.
Thank you.
We had a hacker.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It happens everywhere. It's rare, but it happens once in a while.
It was our creative energies here. It brought the hacker in. He's like, I want in on this. All right, so was everyone, I know we had got interrupted. Did everyone have a chance to think about something maybe that took their attention this week? I can start. I'll start and I'll give an example of that. All right, so I've already introduced myself. I'm Tannis and I'm in Damascus, Pennsylvania at Willow Wisp Organic Farm. And one of the things that I noticed this week, and it was hard to not notice it, and it really disturbed me actually, was this robin kept attacking our window in the same place. It was flying in and pecking at my son's window over and over and over. And it was like, okay, I got it. You're seeing your reflection, I guess, and you're like trying to mate with that bird you see, or maybe fight with that bird you see. But it was over, and I have had a deep fear of birds. And so we went through this whole thing. We put like fabrics on top of the window. We could like open it up and then drape a fabric in. But the wind blew it just over a little bit, and we couldn't quite get it all the way, and it continues, and it was still doing it this morning, and it started this Monday. And I'm like, how is this thing not dead? The crash of it into the window is just so incredible. Anyway, so I'm thinking about what is the impulse to keep doing that over and over and over again. And I'm like, I just keep thinking about that bird's desire to do that. And that's my observation. So why don't we go with you? Would you introduce yourself
Well,
and where you were from, and then just something you've observed?
okay, my name is Stephen. I'm from here in Harrisburg, actually, about 7 miles down the road in a place referred to as Beaver Brook. And I was going to mow the lawn to 2 days ago, and yesterday, and I was realizing that something wasn't right, because apparently there wasn't smelling the cut grass, and it was, even though in passing, and nothing here seemed to be going that lower, and I turned the mower off, and I reached down and I felt the blade. And the mower was only about I say no more than a year old, and already the blade was dull. So I went over to my neighbor across the street, a man who is could have been a tinkerer for cars because he's a retired mechanic. And I mentioned the fact that my blade was already dull, and he just shook his head. And I asked, do you know any place where I could get the blade sharpened? And he offered to do it for free. And I think at first I thought, no, he'd be neighborly, but also we're enjoying a little bit of a barter system, I guess, because I have a dual deck system that allows me to transfer VHS tapes onto DVD. He has these old VHS tapes of car shows he's been to. When he wanted to see them again, he didn't have a VCR, so I offered to do it for free. So we have a little bit of a little community, similar informal barter system going across the street.
Nice community connection, nice neighborly connection.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very interesting to me that I'm here listening to you, because we're looking for a farm, and small one, and my son is the farmer and does organic gardening, and he's selling the seeds. He works all winter. Even when onions cold, they're like a hoop, plastic hoop, greenhouse, and he's like 24/7 growing things every second. And so we're thinking about a whole new life. And I want to write books. And I came up here for this week to write because I'm doing a service at my fellowship. And I have a not-for-profit working in Ethiopia and Burundi. And I'm trying to put together my experience with the new values that the UUA is presenting in Article 2. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But to write and then to think about your life is, makes you reflect on all kinds of things. And that process, your words fit very deeply into that whole process that I've been experiencing this week. So I thank you.
Yes. Do you have a observation that you can share with us? And I'm sorry, your first name again?
Helen.
Helen. So Helen, did you observe something this week that just caught your attention? And was maybe something that you could share with us right now?
Just the inner process of thinking about different parts of your life and reliving it and looking at it in different ways. And this, in a way, there's a struggle to express it. And yet when you can get it out of the way, hopefully people will understand it is a very positive feeling.
Thank you for that observation.
I'm Barbara, and I'd like to say I live in southern Damascus because I live about 3 miles off the bridge, over the bridge.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the other end. I
Yep.
think you probably live in the northern end.
Well, we're right on River Road, right near the Canfields farm.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're much further.
Yeah, we're right on River Road.
Right. But, and I did want to say, I had your problem of when we first moved here, and I finally solved it by taping newspaper up on my window temporarily so the robin would stop pecking at it
Inside or outside?
inside, because that was what I could reach. So, I mean, I just did it temporarily. I didn't do it,
Right,
you
yeah.
know, it's fine now,
Yeah.
but I took it down until the robin decided he would like to do something else.
Okay.
But it went on for days and it drove me nuts. And it was just miserable. Yes. And when that stopped, I ended up having the woodpecker peck on the metal gutters of my house. And for that, I ran out of the house and screamed at him. My neighbors thought I was terrible. It was really, yeah, it was not fun. But anyway, what I observed this week, is I used to be a gardener. I'm not much of a gardener anymore, unfortunately, but the beautiful forsythia and beautiful Bradford pears. I know Bradford pears are invasive, so I'm not thrilled with that, but they are so gorgeous this year, aren't they?
I think the forsythia is brighter than ever this year.
Yes, it's just
I
incredible.
noticed that too, and I was like, is it just?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something really amazing about it this year. That's great. Tom?
Blue. Something I observed this week was the contrast in attitudes toward litter.
Towards?
Litter.
Oh.
Joe and I participated in a couple of different litter plucks, one on each side of the river. And each time I picked something up, I thought of who would, you know, obviously there's no way to identify it by name, but who would throw this out the window?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could picture people doing it. And then the volunteers who were out had an entirely different attitude, obviously, than who've been out there. So my observation is the contrast between the two attitudes and how to make that shift.
Beautiful.
I'm Michael. I live in Kowalchuk. I used to live in Mary'sburg, I think. But I garden and manage large estates, and I've been grumpy with myself for ruminating about certain. I have a health issue with my eye, and I have a very, very bad neighbor, finding my meditations are not clearing my mind. And all of a sudden, I'm back out on my properties, outside from early in the morning till the end of the day. It's funny, there's a favorite old quote of mine, uh, no, uh, no tears can dampen the beauty of the forest. And I finally stopped ruminating about all these issues because I could feel the rhizomes and tubers moving underground. The breeze was kissing me. The birds were a flock of crows that have been visiting me a lot. And it's just so sweet that, with all this effort to try and stop ruminating and being in the sphere, and just the breeze takes it away. So I like
That's so sweet. Nice observation. Power of nature.
Yeah.
I'm Jill. I live right down the street with Tom. And my observations this week, you're probably all ready for this, is from my granddaughter. She was 2.5 months old. And watching her grow, I'm gonna get weepy. The beauty of her coming alive, and from being that little infant a couple months ago to facial expressions and cooing and being and then responding and with that is my more connection with my dog. And we always have had a good connection, but it has become so strong. And I am just beside myself in love with this child, and I don't remember my son, I mean, you remember, but the feelings, are just so strong. It's really incredible. So, excuse me, it's getting a lot.
Yeah.
My name is Heidi, and I live in Shahola. A man who spoke on photography recently is my neighbor, and he's pretty skilled. And I have 20 years worth of slides sitting in my house. So I turned to him and I said, "Can you scan slides?" And he said, "Yes." So I gave him 2 bags of slides. And on Thursday, he returned to me an external hard drive with over 3,000 slides. Friday, my daughter came up with my grandson. And I said, "Do you want to take a peek at these? I don't have copies for you yet." He was going to put copies on a couple of thumb drives so I could give my daughters and my sisters and my grandkids copies so they don't have to go through 2 bags worth of slides to see what I looked like, in 1975. So when she came up, they looked at a few. Apparently he had made folders, and I still have no idea what the folders are, but we looked at a couple the year my daughter was born. So we went to lunch and we stopped at Walmart, and Toby got a thumb drive and he transferred the files from the hard drive to the thumb drive. Anyway, he took them home, and my daughter, younger daughter, has been entranced with these slides. She has been going through them, and she started years before they were born, she and my other daughter. And she's found parties and pictures and some shots of me that she said either belong in Playboy or Vogue, which cracked me up because she didn't expect to see those, and I didn't remember posing for them. But it's intriguing to see which pictures she has focused on and what years, and it made me remember. I mean, I'm going to be 82 in a couple of weeks. It made me remember what I looked like and felt like at 22, at 20 when I got married, at 30. And I can't wait to go through them myself, but I wanted to set aside a couple of hours to do it. So I am observing my former self and getting in touch with things that I haven't thought about and felt in years.
So I'm Laurie. I live in Narrowsburg. I actually live 7 miles south of Narrowsburg on a small road called Grassy Swamp Road. I just love that. When you used to order things, like catalogs, and they go, what's your address? I was like, Grassy Swamp Road. Anyway, it was always a kicker. Anyway, so I was really I'm on the board of directors of the New York Press Association, so it's always an interesting thing. And then there's a spring convention where they're bringing people up, and I had 2 of my staff there. And yesterday at breakfast, breakfast, and then there's these awards, and then everybody's going off to workshops. And I was like looking at the brochure to see like what workshop I was going to go through. There's these different tracks: publishers, reporters, advertising people, etc. Design. And my 2 staffers were just like, okay, bye. And they were we're going to learn. And I watched them walk out the room, and my heart just swelled. Just swelled with the idea that people, and you can see it all in the participants, how excited and fulfilled they are. Like working that way, and how amazingly blessed I was to have 2 of them going off to learn and being so excited to be with them. So it just warmed my heart. Well, faith in the world and newspapers, the future of newspapers and all that. So
Great. Okay, so.
Anybody online?
Yeah. Oh, anyone
Can
online?
somebody online sneak in?
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
this is Skip Mendler from Honesdale, and
Hi,
I'm here
Skip.
with my wife, Jasmine Schwank, and delighted to see you all. And the thing I wanted to share was sitting out on my front porch this week when the first yellow finch of the season showed up again.
Can you make him big?
There you go. I'm not much to look at. Don't worry. But you can. But that was just a moment of sheer delight. It was like seeing an old friend who hadn't been around for a while, because they hadn't. We hadn't seen them since last fall. So, yeah, a yellow finch landing on the bird feeder was my observation.
Thanks, Skip.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to
You
see
have
you.
one?
Yeah.
I'll say so. Jasmine, you're going to say something?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Jasmine. I'm living in Honesdale on top of the waterfall since 3 years. As you hear, I was not born in this country. I'm a new immigrant still. And I observed something that I didn't find nice this week, but I want to tell it. At the moment, I'm in this phase of immigration where I start to see the bad things. And I criticize especially American politics. I'm sorry. As a German, well-educated, I see a danger, and it's very scary to me. And I say that, and I wrote it down on some comments on Facebook, and I get very often the answer: if you don't like it here, leave. I know that you guys don't think like that all. I know that. I experience that too. But this is an argument like ramming a door back in front of the nose of somebody. Just boom, the door's closed. And I'm thinking, hey, I would just love to communicate more. Even if we have different opinions, we should be able to talk to each others more and to find out what we have in common. So that was an observation of this week.
Good one.
Thank
Yes,
you.
and For the ones who don't know me, I'm an artist, and at the moment I study wooden puppetry.
Oh, my wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn. I'm
Yes.
Sharon. I live in Easton, Pennsylvania. I used to be a quasi, a half-time resident of Lackawaxen, Pennsylvania, but I moved down here, and I only attend the UUs on Sunday via Zoom, so I'm very thankful for Zoom. I have a few observations that are kind of interesting, so I'll just throw a few things out. One is that I begin to see I'm already 82, and the more I live, the more I see that I am exactly who I was at the youngest point that I can remember who I was. I was always this very, I didn't think I was odd, but I would say that I have a creative uh, energy that is sometimes not understood by lots of people because it's could be overwhelming to most people, but not to me. So I was fascinated to know that I am exactly who I always was as the youngest child. I was at 7 years old. I was already painting my neighbor's bedroom. She was 3 years younger than me. So we went to the basement. We picked up some paint from the basement and painted her room. You can't imagine what that must have looked like. I was always at it. I was always at it, and I have never stopped. And it seems to me that I would probably won't until my last day. But the thing that I noticed very recently is reciprocity. People, when you give, want to give back. They really, if their heart is in the right place and they're good souls, they just, if you give them something, they really want to respond in a way that they feel that they've also given. And I think one of the ways to make better people in the world is to give more, whatever it is you can give, a smile, a hello, sitting down and listening to whatever it is they want to tell you. Because every day I try to do this, and I find that I'm so blessed at what comes back to me, much more probably than I give. So reciprocity is something is really great. And yesterday, when we were so lost on the road, and Siri was giving me such a hard time and putting me, I don't know where, but we traveled forever, and it was only a 40-minute drive, and it took 3 hours, as I said before.
Oh my goodness.
So the thing is that the kindness of people. Went into several places. Everybody wanted to help. Even when they gave me the wrong directions, they wanted to help. And finally, one woman who was obviously behind a counter actually went on her phone, got it out. I wrote down the directions and ultimately finally found the place. People want to be helpful, and that's what I observe. If you give people the opportunity to be helpful, they will be helpful. And so that's what I observed most this week, that and I was speaking with a new friend who is an artist here in the community, and he says, "Isn't it great how you can hate so many people and love them just the same?" And I said, "Yeah, sometimes I can really get a hate on, but I just love people because they have that potential to really shine and give you back the best of them." So that's it for me.
Great. All right. Do we have 10 more minutes?
Sure.
Yes?
Is there one more?
Oh, is there?
Is Rosie? Is Rosie still there?
Damn it. Yes, I am here. And I will be brief. I had a wonderful, a bittersweet observation on Friday. I was doing some yard work and trying to overcome the overwhelming amount of barberry bushes. And for an hour, I tugged and pulled and observed, and then had to stop because it's way beyond my ability to manage this invasive plant. And yes, it seems to be a rhizome. It seemed to enjoy the fact that we had an easy winter. And I put my tools away and I went to take a little walk and just observe the birds and then I heard my second favorite sound, the hum of bees. It was very strong, and I just love that sound. But they weren't honeybees, they were bumblebees, and they were immersed in the flowering barberry bushes. And I thought, is this a good thing? I mean, the entire understory, parts of River Road are covered with these barberry bushes. They are highly invasive. But the bees seem to be happy, so I need to take a different step, and that's what I observed. For right or wrong, it's a bittersweet observance, and I enjoyed listening to all of you. I've experienced 99% of what everybody has just said, and I thank you for your service.
Thanks, Rosie.
Thank you, Laurie.
Is that Rosie Starr?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I can't see your face, Rosie.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sharing the phone. Oh, it's all great. Okay, so this is what I want to do. If everyone would stand up, please. Okay. So let's just give a little stretch. We have like 10 more minutes of this workshop now.
This is not the work.
Are you sure? Okay, you can stretch up this way. It's okay. All right. Great. Just a stretch. And if you want to just like shake it out, just shake it out. Just because we've been sitting. So whatever works, just shake it out. Whatever you need to like get your spine a little bit away. It's good. Everyone's going to do this. Okay. So if you would just turn to face out and so that you're not seeing anybody. Okay, you just have your own space right now. I want you to go back into your body and I want you to think about what you observed. How everyone described your observation so beautifully. So go back to that question or the observation, the essence of it, and find a physical position, a gesture or a physical position that embodies that observation. Just look for that. You can play around a little bit, like what is the best physicalization in your body, in your spine, your legs, your arms, your head, your face, of that observation. If it's a question, that's okay too. And just look for that body. Look for that. It's almost like it's what's called a psychological gesture. Look for that psychological gesture, which is like a statue almost of that question or observation in your body. So go back to normal, go back to just standing neutral, and then go to that position. Go to neutral, standing neutral, and then go to that position. Does everyone have one? Does everyone have one? Great. Okay. So just remember that. You can sit back down. And I just want to do one more exercise. And we're going to put it all together. If everyone could, on a piece of paper, and we have pens, write down a poetic sentence, one sentence that describes and best describes what you just told us about your observation. And if you need something to write on, I have the backs of these.
I'm okay.
You okay? Someone need a back to write on?
Could you repeat the assignment?
Yes, please. Here. Please write one line of poetry to describe the observation you shared with us. It's not straight up word. It's not just like a sentence, but a poetic sentence. And you can go as avant-garde as you like. Okay. And this is a sentence I would actually like you to commit to memory if you can. But okay. You can try to commit it to memory. Maybe just say it over and over. You're going to speak this out loud, okay? So just practice speaking it. Okay. I'm going to wait till everyone stopped writing. Try to remember your line. Helen, how you doing?
Yeah, just sucking. I'll just put some.
Okay. I'll just change it on your drive phone.
Yeah. I'll find it out.
Okay, great. Jill, you good?
Yeah, I'm just changing.
Okay, change. Yeah, sure. You don't have to edit.
That's what poetry is.
Whatever you want. Laurie, you good?
Yep.
And Tom, are you happy with what you've done?
Happy as I'm gonna be in the next few minutes,
What's that?
as happy as I'm gonna get with it. in the
Okay,
next few
great.
minutes.
Okay. So now, this is what we're gonna do to finish our session. Everyone will share their action while saying their text. The position, you're gonna go into your position that you made and say your text as you go into it. Okay, so I'll give you my example. See if I can remember my text. So I remember my action as this. Okay, so now I'm going to say, bird brain smeared, my son and I wince in wonder. Do it again. Bird brain smeared, my son and I wince in wonder.
Don't get them on your glasses.
So that's all. Just go into your position that you made, whatever position you made, and speak your text as you're getting into it. That's all you need to do. Sound good? You want to go first? I would love to see this.
Mine's very brief.
It's okay.
I said, unity is essential.
That's great. Do it one more time and hold that. Hold that.
Community is essential.
Beautiful. We have
Being a bridge, discovering joyful connection.
being a bridge.
Yeah, so I can believe that. I talked about Pacifica, a flowering bush like a waterfall.
Good.
All things and everyone has a place, all things where they belong,
So what's your action?
bending over.
Do you want to like kind of like slow down your action and do your text and just see how that goes.
Everything and everyone has a place. All things where they belong.
Great. Thank you.
All the beautiful ways of kneeling down and kissing the earth.
Hey, do you want to try standing?
All the ways of kneeling down and kissing the earth.
We reach out, watch you flourish. You warm my heart as you welcome me in.
My youthful mind and body still exist. I just need to relax and permit myself to remember.
A grateful spring in step with passion and vocation.
Wow, everybody.
A yellow. Yeah. A yellow flash of surprised delight.
Yeah.
Listen to my words.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Am I next? Is that me?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to do what I thought I was doing. Okay,
Good.
I'll just do this. And I have said, to remain loose is the answer to a good life.
What could you do that again? I didn't quite hear it.
Okay. I'm trying to get my thing because I was just loosening my hips. To remain loose is the answer to a good life.
Ooh, nice. I like that one.
Okay, it's Rosie. My hand is on my throat near my heart, and my words are: bumblebees on barberry blossoms. Astonished, my breath is held. It's time to exhale and let go.
Beautiful. Thanks, folks at home. Those were beautiful. Everyone's was beautiful. Well, that's what I have planned for a creative exploration today. I think everyone did beautiful, beautiful work. I just want to finish with another amazing quote on creativity, and it's probably my favorite one by Vincent van Gogh. I feel that there is nothing more truly artistic than to love people. You.
We have one more chant as a closer.
Yay.
I was very fortunate in 2015 to travel to China on an educational tour with the process theologians of that are really trying. Process theology is understanding that every single entity kind of reacts and makes a decision. So it is getting input that something is happening, and then it makes a decision. And that this is the work of Alfred North Whitehead, who was a 1929 mathematician who wanted to explain what life is. And so he's kind of like, it's a series of becomings, right? And I was fortunate to be able to go and travel with my reverie heart with very, this is very, very deep philosophy. People say they read Alfred North Whitehead, for years. And when they understand one paragraph, they like do a little happy dance in their living room, right? Wow. But I was the one who was supposed to bring it into the body. right, for these master's students. So this is a chant that I wrote as part of that experience. And it's very simple. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. That's it. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. Let's do that one more time. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. One more time. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. We all create ourselves. Let's see that 2 more times. We all create ourselves. One more time. We all create ourselves with each other and the water and the earth. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. We all create ourselves. We all create ourselves. Time. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. Last time. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. We all create ourselves out of our relationships with each other and the water and the earth. We all create ourselves. We all create ourselves. We all create ourselves with each other and the water and the earth. So we'll extinguish our chalice, but not our creativity. That we will carry and use in our lives to find common good and to build community until we are together. Thank you all. Thank you, Tannis.
Thank you, everybody.
And please join us for refreshments.
Thank you, Tannis. It was wonderful to hear you.
Thanks. Nice to be here and to see you. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You know what? These are not my pens. These are Tom's.
Fade to purple.
The green ones are Tom's. I thought. Yeah, that's mine.
I'll turn the camera to the
What collection last week?
By the way,
I wasn't here last week. Oh, and it was only and Steve here.
probably would.
Can I get her attention?
So what's going on?
Maybe.
I do need to, and I don't know.
I hope not. Crazy. I mean, we literally covered the entire window and there's a.
This is a
one little
3D
strip.
challenge.
And there's all like
If you
this.
could put it out in a way that
Just that one little section, like a huge window.
Okay.
So I don't know what to say this for.
So that's bananas.
Bananas.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Having these.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Tannis.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Tannis.
I know weather.
No, it's not.
Tannis.
How are you during the winter?
Not here, that's why I'm fine.
Oh, where do you go?
We are in a little box, Tannis.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi. I will contact you soon because I would love to speak with you about puppetry and theater.
Okay, that sounds good. Hi, Skip.
Okay,
Okay.
hi, nice to see you.
Okay, nice to see you as well. Okay.
My pleasure,
Okay.
good stuff.
We talk
Thank
soon.
you.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.
I just, well, I keep debating about that.